So yesterday we were chilling here for anybody who was here for the beginning of the stream, and we were just talking about like the basics of TFT because I wanted to start doing some more stuff like that. I thought it'd be fun to have like a little show where we just kind of talk about like different things going on, different strategies for TFT and stuff like that, different strategies in the game. I want to introduce hyper rolling to people who maybe don't know about it because it seems like a lot of people don't know about it, even though it's been around since set 1. Is what I figured out. I didn't know about it until I saw it on Reddit. Props to, I think her name is Faye. She uploaded a guide on this, and that was like really cool. I can link the guide in chat for anyone who's looking. It's a really good guide. It was really interesting. It's an interesting concept, and it makes like complete sense if you like read it and you understand the game like a little bit. It's kind of a difficult thing to pull off effectively, it seems like, though. If you don't know exactly what you're looking for, or you don't know exactly what you're doing. So that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Partly to familiarize like anybody who wants to tune in and listen, but also to familiarize myself because, like I said, I'm learning with everybody else, so I think it's cool. So basically, I wrote down some pros and cons, and then I have a couple games of me doing this that I wanted to go and look over, and I think that'll be fun. And then afterwards, we're going to get into the game, and we're actually going to try it a little bit on stream as well. Good. I think that was a good introduction. We're getting better at it already. So what is hyper rolling anyway? It kind of sounds like what it is. If you've ever played any auto battlers and stuff like that, you know that you can re-roll if you don't like the units that you were given at the beginning of the round. And you're just going to be doing that a lot, hence the hyper rolling. Basically, the strategy, it abuses the idea that 1 gold units are a lot more frequent in the deck than like 2 gold units and stuff like that. So it's a lot less likely that you're going to get a high level 2 gold unit, but it's pretty likely that you're going to get a high gold 1 gold unit. And it abuses the fact that these are a lot more common in the early levels. So what you do is you save up your money, and instead of leveling up, you wait until you have a lot of money, and then you spend all of your money looking for those lower gold units because they'll be harder to find later in the game once you've leveled up a little bit more. So you wait until a specific round, and you bank up money, and then you spend all of your money looking for those lower gold units because they're easier to get. And you can get a level 3 pretty early. And it actually just resulted in my last game with people yelling about me having too many level 3s, which is pretty funny. It feels really good. I don't know. Even if you don't win, it just feels good having level 3 units. I don't know why. It just does. Like just having the level 3 units, the little golden mark. It's like the dopamine that goes to your brain is just like awesome. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh, it's such a rush. I love it. I wrote down pros and cons for it. I think like some pros, it's fairly basic. Like it's not requiring like any like intense mental thought, I guess. You got to do a little bit of scouting, which is kind of difficult if you don't know what you're looking for, but we'll tell you what you're looking for pretty much. You just buy all the units. So that's pretty much how it works. And it's really fun. So that's a cool pro. At least it's fun for me. I don't know. Other people may not like it. I always try to keep that in mind. That it's like something that I find really interesting. Other people might not. A lot of people might find the strategy boring. Because it's less reactive, I suppose. Well, that's not true. It's pretty reactive, but and then another pro that I really like for it is it's really strong like mid game. The early game is a little bit weak because you're kind of sacrificing early game units, early game strength because you're not spending your money. But once you get to the mid game, you spend a lot of money. It can set you up for late game pretty well. Like I said though, I haven't been able to win, so I think there's a little bit of struggle finding the exact team comp that you're looking for. I don't think I have the knowledge that or the experience yet. But like a more experienced player, somebody who's played the game a little bit more than me could probably do it a little bit better. But I think I have the base idea of the strategy down. I think it just needs a little bit of refining for me. So we're going to be doing that over the next couple of days and figuring that out. But I thought it would be cool to introduce it at least on stream today. And then I think it does a really good job of helping players envision like the future of their team compositions. So I think that's an interesting pro because it's like a lot of people might not look into that, but I look into like the educational value of doing something like this, for example. So like by running a comp like this, what it does is it gives you an idea of who you want to purchase. You're trying to keep that in mind before you start rolling for it. Because when you're sitting there, you have to have an idea of what the team comp that you're looking for is. Otherwise, you're gonna buy out all like the worst units or something like that, and they won't really line up well. And then you have to figure out how you kind of mix and match what you have. But instead, what you'll start to do is you'll start to be like, okay, well, if I get these 3, that'll give me this combination, and then I can start shooting for that. So even though before you start rolling, you might not have the team comp that you're looking for, by the end of the time after you've rolled for it, hopefully you will. Cons of doing the strategy is it murders your economy. So it can be kind of rough if you're like a big econ player. You like building up an economy a lot and stuff like that. Like myself, it can be kind of annoying because you'll be playing a little bit of the game on lower gold than normal, but it's still really fun. Difficult if you don't know if you don't have knowledge of the characters in the game. So if you don't have a lot of knowledge of the characters, you won't really know what you're looking for when you're scouting. You won't really know what's open. So it'll be kind of difficult. But I think it helps to build up that knowledge. So it's a pretty okay strategy. It requires a lot of planning and scouting. So I think that this is actually going to be really helpful in the future. But it's kind of difficult at first to be like scouting out your opponents. And I think I kind of give it up once I get to the late game, which is something I should probably slow down a little bit on. Scouting seems so important in a game like this, especially in set 2, where like in set 1 it felt like there was like really strong comps and like the counters weren't as intuitive, but like now in set 2 it seems like counters are like really important, and you'll be doing like you'll have a strong comp, but it will be like really weak against this guy because of like a specific item that he built or like a specific unit that he added to his comp. It seemed a little bit less in the first set, but in the second set it seems a little bit more prominent, and then it's weaker early game. So a few games I'm going to walk through. I've been playing this like non-stop for like the last 2 days, trying to get enough footage for this. Trying to find enough games where I feel like I did well enough or like had different comps. I think the interesting thing with this is I didn't normally go for the exact same thing. I was very reactionary onto what people are picking. So I have a lot of videos of different team compositions and stuff like that over the course of the games. I think it's a lot of fun. So we're going to talk about those. Just starting out, I generally end up picking one of my favorite units. I think everyone has like a favorite unit. I like Jax a lot. I don't know why. I think I'm starting to like him less as I start to lose more with him. But I think that he's a safe unit to pick up for the strategy. So basically, like I said earlier, the strategy is trying to focus around purchasing lower gold cost units, you know? So somebody like Jax is going to be like, obviously all the characters in the carousel are going to be like 2 gold. But like Jax also complements with Nasus really well because they're both light characters. So you can pick up the Nasus and you can pick up the Vayne. And those are a very strong composition for hyper rolling. So that's kind of what I look for initially. You could start out with like the 1 build, but you have to kind of see what other people are buying. Because since you're not going to be purchasing until like a little bit later in the game, you kind of have a little bit more competition. You kind of go for whatever other people are leaving almost, yeah. And you take whatever you're given as well. So lucky enough, right off the bat here, I also got a Nasus and a Vayne. So I picked both of those guys up, obviously. And I just kind of positioned my team. These first couple rounds aren't like too crucial. A lot of the times when I get items in this, when I'm doing this though, I just kind of let the items sit on the sideboard. Because I'm not really sure about the composition that I'm going for, so I like to just have an idea of the items that I'm going to have for late game to see if I can build a team comp around those items as well. Now you can see I'm doing a little bit of scouting in the game. I'm just trying to see who has what to try to get an idea of what I want to build. So if people are running, I know a really common build for this for hyper rolling is Predators, and you'll pick up like Warwick, Rek'Sai, and Kog'Maw because they're very cheap units that you can get, and although it's very enticing to pick up like a Kog'Maw right there, I already noticed that there's like 2 or 3 people in this game trying to go Predators. So I was I'm not even going to bother with it. There's no point in me picking up the Kog'Maw. Every now and then when you're doing this build, you'll be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then you'll end up having like a pretty decent comp. So just keep that in mind. You might get like a little bit nervous as you're going in. You just got to commit kind of. So basically before your round, this is all you're doing. You're just picking up a couple units. You're trying to get all these cheap units leveled up. I have the Ornn, so I know that I'm probably going to be focusing on something around that area. I have a couple of Nasuses too. So I might be looking for some sort of Warden's build is what I'm thinking at this point. Which is cool because I've been doing mostly like Predators and like Berserkers and stuff like that light with this build or with this strategy. But I was excited to try something new. And this is kind of right here. This is kind of the point where I decided that I was like absolutely going in on the Wardens. Because it gave me like 2 Nasuses right there. I thought that was like such a clutch like give there. I already have I have a level 2 Nasus on the bench, and then I have another one level 1 Nasus just sitting right there. So I was like, okay, well we can definitely make something work with the Nasus. In 2 rounds, that's when you're pretty much going to make your decision. From this point, you fight the golems, and then the round after the golems is when you start spending all your money. So you want to have it in mind pretty much like around this point, what your plan is. I've already done a little bit of scouting. I know that nobody's really picking up Nasus. People are going light, which is why I didn't decide to go Nasus like Vayne, Jax. That's why I decided I needed to do something different, you know. So I've never done Wardens before. I was like, let's give it a shot. Let's see if this works for hyper rolling. I thought it might, because Ornn is a 1-cost unit, Nasus is a 1-cost unit, Brahm's a 2-cost unit. I don't think I actually end up getting the Braum, but And I think there's another 2-cost. Yeah, no, Volibear's not Warden. Thresh. Thresh is a 2-cost Warden. So I thought that maybe we could make something work there. There will be a lot of cheap units that I might be able to get. And that's the whole point of the composition, or the strategy, is to try to get those really cheap units, the 1 cost, the 2 costs. I'm going to fast forward through this Golem round. I've had a couple compositions with the strategy that kind of suck versus Golems. Golem round is kind of rough sometimes, because since the whole strat relies on staying a low level, you actually have to fight Golems with 4 people. And which is pretty easy if you have like 1 or 2 level 2s. If you don't, you can actually lose to Golems, and that could be like a pretty rough go. So keep that in mind. You do want a decent composition at this point. You are kind of giving up the early game just a little bit, which is kind of nice actually, because you can get first pick on the carousel if you're actually behind a little or too much. But you don't want to be dying to Golems. You're just missing out on items and gold at that point. Like, that's really bad. This is me preparing to buy my Wardens. I'm selling my Kog'Maws and stuff, everything that's not relevant to the build. I think I keep the Volibear just in case, because I do have the Volibear right there. Maybe I can get a level 2 Volibear. And this is when you start buying right here. I'm even going to move my mouse off the screen. I don't know how, I'm not quite as fast as I'd like to be on this, but you see I pick up the Thresh there. I know I'm going for Wardens. You just have to keep in mind what you're looking for. I see another Ornn. You just spend all of your money right here, and you try to get a level 3 unit. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a level 3 unit. So I'm thinking I might be able to get my Ornn. I'm close to Ornn, and then I'm close to Nasus. There's my second level 2 Nasus. I just need one more Ornn at this point, and there's my Ornn. That's a level 3 Ornn. And this is like so fun because you're at 3-1 right now. That's incredibly early for a level 3 unit, you know? So now we're doing pretty good here. We have a level 3 Ornn. Generally, once you get a level 3, I'm pretty sure you can stop rolling. I don't think that I don't think that you need to spend it down to 0. I spent down to 0. Generally, people spend around to 10 because I murdered my economy here. And this might be part of the reason that I'm having trouble in the late game. I actually lose to this guy. That's funny. And now at this point, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my items because we have a ton of items just sitting on the bench right now. So we're trying to figure out what do we do with these guys. Now that we have our comp figured out, who do I want to throw these on? I think I end up throwing them on the Ornn. Hyper carry Ornn is pretty good, is what I've heard. Like if you beef up the Ornn and then you give him like a Hextech Gunblade, I know that he's actually really strong. I don't think I end up getting the Hextech Gunblade in this game. But. So now as the game takes off, it's tough at this point because your economy is going to be behind after you're rolled and everything. If you don't have any level 3s at this point, it could be kind of a struggle, and I think that's actually what ended up happening to me last game, which I think is actually surprising with how well I did in that game. I was getting real worried in that one, but we'll get to that game later. But at this point, I have a lot of level 3s, so what we can do is we can just start ecoing. Basically, what we need to do is we need to get money so we don't start falling behind in levels, because that's the other thing that you're going to spend money on in this game, obviously, levels. So if you don't have any money to spend on levels, everyone else is going to start getting more and more units, and they're going to start reading like later synergies, and we're just not going to be able to do that if we don't start ecoing. So I'm spending a lot of my money right now. I really need to not be doing that, and I think this is something that actually might have resulted me in losing the game. Just like my desire to get these guys to like level 3. I think it's because I'm worried though, because you've been losing all game and you all in on this strat. I think it can be really scary. You can lose a little bit of patience, I guess, with the comp. So Ornn and Volibear are a very common combination that you'll see with this too, especially if you're going for like a Predator build. You'll generally get like you'll get like a Warwick, you'll get a Kog'Maw, and then you'll get like Rek'Sai, and then you'll add on the Ornn maybe early game because he's cheap, and then you can add on like a Volibear and stuff, and then the Volibear will synergize with the Warwick really well because it'll be 2 glacials and stuff like that, but he'll also synergize with the Ornn because the Ornn is electric, so. It works out pretty well. We're in the late game now. We can fast forward even a little bit more. We have our comp like built up like this. I think we don't have another 3-star yet, but we have a scary composition. See, and we're still riding off the level 3 of the Ornn and the Nasus, as you can see. Like we don't have anything else very like spectacular on our team, but it carried us all the way to the final 3. Like literally those 2 units. So it could just be like a very strong team composition, just right out the gate. However, if you do miss out on the level 3, then you're pretty much screwed. I have had like a game or 2 where I end up in like 5th place, 6th place, something like that. So this next one, again, we start off with like a pretty similar comp. Like I said, I like to go with the Jax to starting out. And just coincidentally, I think the Jax in a lot of these games had like a pretty good item on them. So I like the Gauntlet. Gauntlet's really good on the Cloud map because if you can get it combined with a Chain Vest, you can actually make it into a Frozen Mallet, or not Frozen Mallet, Frozen Gauntlet, whatever it's called. Iceborne Gauntlet. And Iceborne Gauntlet's really strong on the Cloud map. Just because on the cloud map, the effect of the Iceborne Gauntlet makes it so whenever you dodge, it'll slow the attack speed of the entire enemy team. Or not the entire enemy team, but whoever's on those tiles. So that could be really good with the cloud map where it makes you dodge more frequently. So keep that in mind. It's pretty busted. I know people on Reddit are complaining about it a lot. So again, we're just kind of picking up units. We're looking around on the board, trying to figure out what other people are doing pretty casually. This first couple rounds, they're always going to be like the same thing. You know, you're just kind of picking up what you can, trying to get an idea of what you want to go. I'm picking up the Yasuos here. I've gone, I like to go with the Yasuo and Renekton if nobody else is going for that. It's kind of a weird build there. It's like you go more towards Berserkers or Blade Masters in that regard, and you get like Desert. That can kind of be okay. It's not really optimal. There are a lot of other better builds with it, but it's an option if you feel like everyone else is already doing something that you're looking for, or anything that you're getting the option for. I can't go Predators at this point because I think that somebody else is already going Predators, and they're already like pretty deep in it. I think they have a Rek'Sai and they have like a Skarner, or they have a Warwick or something like that. So I have a Kog'Maw though, and I have a lot of Kog'Maws. So I'm thinking, okay, well I can get a level 3 Kog'Maw. What am I gonna do with that? Because generally when you get Kog'Maw, you're gonna go for some sort of Predators. That opens me up to Poison still, which is like pretty good. So that's kind of part of our plan here, but we still have like a ton of weird stuff. It's like, because you can't get any of the poisons until later game. You have the Kog'Maw, which is good, but then you're waiting for the late game Mundo, you're waiting for the late game Twitch, you're waiting for the late game Singed especially. So it's kind of a question of what I'm going for here. I have 2 level 2 Kog'Maws, so I'm probably gonna get him to level 3, but just having a level 3 Kog'Maw there alone is strong, but it could be stronger. What can I utilize with this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. We end up taking out golems there, and again, I'm going to start rolling. I'm just picking up some cloud dudes. I'm looking for Blade Masters here. I'm looking for Renektons. I'm looking for Kog'Maws, and I guess I'm looking for Nasus too. That's what I decided. So at this point, what I'm thinking is Jax is a Berserker, Renekton's a Berserker, and Mundo's a Berserker. So I'm thinking Mundo's also a poison. So if we pick up Mundo, we go poison, Berserker. I think that might be all right. And then we already had a lot of Yasuos, so I started to pick up Yasuo. I figured maybe I could get a level 3 Yasuo. I could work him in somewhere. I think I was picking up Nasus just because I had a Nasus. I'm probably going to end up selling Nasus, I think. He doesn't really fit into this comp at all that I'm going for, I'm pretty sure. Nasus is just a strong tank, though, in this game. He gets so beefy, especially with his ultimate. Like, he's hard to kill. So this is at the end of our rolls. It's a little bit of a struggle right now because, as you see, this is what I was talking about last game. We didn't get a level 3 here, so I'm a little panicked right now. I have a level 1 Jack, or level 2 Jax, and then almost another level 2 Jax. I have this 2 level 2 Renektons, 2 level 2 Nasuses, 2 level 2 Kog'Maws, and I almost have a level 3 Kog'Maw there. But, like, we don't have anything solid here at this point. So my options at 16 gold is I'm probably going to start re-rolling again. I'm also trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this comp. This is a panic state. This is not good for me right now. We do end up throwing in the Nasus just because he's tanky. Start combining some items. I think I've thrown the Rage Blade on this Jax. I don't know if that's the best decision. I think I could have put it on Kog'Maw. I think that would have been a little bit better. But we put it on the Jax. That's not terrible. There's a level 3 Nasus and a level 3 Renekton here. So now our team comps are starting to kind of come up together. We're looking for our level 3 Jax. We're not going to get a level 3 Mundo, probably. It's not likely, but that's okay. Mundo's a 3-cost unit, too, so the likelihood of getting a 3-cost unit with this build is not very likely. And at this point in the game, this is when you're kind of, like, envisioning the comp. This is a bad comp right now. This is, like, really bad. We have the Kog'Maw here. He's not really synergizing with anything. And then we just have the 3 Berserker buff. So I'm just kind of thinking at this point, like, what do I want to go for? Like, what rounds out this composition? And I think I do end up picking up a Singed here. But even adding a Singed doesn't seem like enough, you know? It feels like you're still kind of down on something. So it's like, what else am I going to round this out with? Blade Masters is something that you can add pretty easily. So we have like a Blade Master with the Yasuo. He's level 3. A level 3 Yasuo, and then adding the Blade Master, it's going to make him a lot stronger. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're probably looking for another Singed. And then we're looking for a way that we can get another Blade Master in. That's another 2 levels, though, is the problem. So it's like, well, what are we going to do? We have 11 gold. Like, we ended up actually adding in a Kha'Zix here for the desert, which is, that's pretty strong with the Kog'Maw and the Yasuo and stuff. That's going to make all of our units hit harder. So that's cool, at least. But desert's another thing that you can add in pretty easily. I like all those 1-unit synergies, like, late game. Or, like, if you get, like, a Mystic. So if you're running, like, light, and then you can add in another Mystic, and you can get that buff. Or even with this Yasuo, I could add in Cloud if I really wanted to. I don't think Cloud's going to be amazing in this scenario. No, Cloud would have been pretty good with the Frozen Gauntlets. I don't even know if I end up doing that. It's possible. Yeah, I do end up adding the Cloud. So the Cloud with Kiana. And that could be pretty good there. So now we have the Cloud, we have a Blade Master, Desert, and Berserker. Where did I get the Blade Master? We ended up getting a Force of Nature on the Nasus too, which helps out. Oh, and then Sivir's a Blade Master. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the Desert and Blade Master combo from the Sivir. That clears two things right there. So I normally come in like second or third. I think it's due to a lack of understanding the late game right now, but so they can get 3-star units. Yeah, I'll admit, getting those 3-star units definitely gives a rush of dopamine to the head. You know, like, definitely feels really good when you can just, like, look at a board like this and be like, yep, it's 5 3-stars right there. You know, no big deal. No big deal. You know. I do end up coming in third this game. Second or third, something like that. Fast forwarding a little bit here. Which is, like, pretty good. It's not amazing, but I think third is pretty good for this. For me, like my first time like doing these strats, I've only come back to TFT like recently too, so I'm pretty confident with this. Just getting familiar with set 2 obviously is gonna make this strat a little bit better. But so if I have like one thing to finish up with hyper rolling, freaking do it, dude. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot for like a game or two if you want. It's so much fun. Like literally just being able to hop into a game. And like the rush of getting those level 3 units just feels like really good. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna play a few games with it now. For anybody who does want to check it out, they want to see it in action. You can see it here. I'm gonna grab another Coca-Cola and then we can get rolling. Okay. If anybody wants to play, say so in chat and we can get you an invite. Okay. No! Oh, that was so close. I thought he was gonna burn to death, dude. What? Oh my god. Every freaking time.